All right, so I know a lot of you are waiting a winter hint, and that's what I came here to give you is a winter hint. Um, Keep in mind I used the word hint because it's not an assurance of a forecast, it's more of a spark or a hint of God, and you know how God leads us by tiny, what's that saying, breadcrumbs along the trail or what have you. This is a breadcrumb along the trail of this upcoming winter. And ironically, I pray to God or source or whoever you consider your higher power or self that the Euro Weekly is out. And let's see if the Euro Weekly is out. Unfortunately, it's not. So we're gonna, again, this is a winter hint, so don't tune out just yet. We're going to divert into some other short range topics because that will prelude and intersect and coalesce into our winter hint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restore you to a method I used to use when I first got into weather very initially back in 2010 through 2012 when it was my first love. And it was called the LCR method. And basically, in short, the description of it is it's a method used to produce a forecast based off past patterns of the summer and fall and the cyclation of those patterns. So we're gonna kind of cut a portion of the next 2 weeks and see if we can kind of spring launch that into winter, if you know what I mean. So, okay, the next 2 weeks, they're going to be very hot in the east, in the central. I mean, this is extraordinary, excruciating heat for many areas, especially the east. Notice there's a tropical storm off to the east in the North Atlantic. But that's the theme is heat in the east and also building in the west, ironically. So heat is the theme. So the question is, does heat, if we do get a hot summer, if my forecast, God forbid, bails out as wrong and it's not a cool summer, it's a hot summer, let's just say that happens hypothetically, do hot summers correlate to cold winters or warm winters? And the answer is typically cold winters. And all I know is instinctively I know that because it just goes back to the whole climate change political thing, which I won't get into. I refuse to in this update. But when you get an extreme, you naturally counter and co-equalize and co-equilibriumize the pattern of the weather. And it just kind of it naturally all works out itself. It counterbalances itself. It you know what I mean. So when you get a hot summer, you're more likely to get a cold winter. And I want to look at also our NOAA's 8 to 14 day outlook. And again, I hope that this is our latest run, and it's not. But again, you can see a hot summer here so far, 8 to 14 day hot, 6 to 10 day hot. But I really want to look at our CFS monthly forecast because I want to see the bigger picture. I want to see if July is going to be hot, what they're forecasting for that. So here's our 2 meter air temperature anomaly for July. And yeah, it's pretty hot. So I might have to swallow my pride and accept we might get a hot summer. Okay. I believe the Jamstack was forecasting a hot summer. I believe only the Canadian and I believe the CFS was forecasting a cool summer, and also NOAA. But anyways, the bottom line is you're more likely to get a cold winter when you get a very hot summer. And that just kind of goes to the naturalistics of all things, weather related and nature related, etc. So I want to kind of put a nail or a stamp in this update with the Jamstack model forecast and kind of stamp it on here and tell you that, okay, here's what I'm looking at, here's my evidence. So we're going to take a look at our 2-meter air temperature anomalies for winter. And lo, what do you know and behold, we have a cold winter for the eastern part of the USA. Isn't that beautiful? How it all works out. So again, I don't want to reiterate this too much, but again, when you get a hot summer, you typically get a cold winter. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of different other factors involved, but if you look to the 1950s, this is classic of this example. 1950s was an era predominated by very hot summers and very cold winters. So, of course, it doesn't always happen like that, but you get the point. We're not black and white, rigid-minded people here on this channel. So, yeah, I do think also, to cover up my theory on this winter hint, that was my winter hint, this whole spirit of my hypothesis, so to speak, is that my further evidence on this is that, again, like I've been saying, negative NAO should develop. We have a subtropical jet. We have an Mordecai El Nino, a strong super Mordecai El Nino, which is very rare and interesting in the sense of the whole thing. But bottom line is we have a lot of factors starting to align. And I said this last winter, and I'm not trying to be pompous, but I'm trying to emphasize that when I gave you a forecast and I gave you my reasons behind the forecast, and it turned out cold, you see, okay, duh, that makes sense. And I'm not saying that out of like pride. I'm saying that analytically. You say 2 + 2 = 4, and basically you learn that in school, but when you go into the whole math, you say, okay, this makes sense. You put 2 and 2 together, you connect 2 dots. Okay, I get it. So, all right, guys, that is my rant for today. But I do genuinely hope you enjoyed the winter hint. And this is Tyler's World of Weather. If you like long-range weather content, be sure to comment now. Comment below and tell me what you think or what you want to happen this winter in your area. And give me your city, your location, and tell me what kind of winter you would like to have. And if you want, you could put your own little prediction there. And again, if you like long-range weather content, be sure to subscribe, and to share, and to comment on my video here for more long-range weather content. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.